Ladies and gents, Platinum Season 4 is finally here. Welcome. Hope everyone's pumped. For the next 5 weeks, we will have 12 sets. There will not be a single game that is missed in Platinum League. The premise, of course, is, just to repeat the basics, you play everyone in your group, and then the bottom two will be relegated down to Gold League for the next season. The top three go into the playoffs, and then fourth just simply stays alive. It is $40 per win for the Platinum players, and there's also thousands of dollars in the placement prizes as well. We've put a lot of effort into making things as good as possible, as competitive as possible, as balanced as possible for this season. Really excited to see things pan out. Now, Vinchester, interesting storyline we should mention with him. He actually won Titans League Season 1. He's Titans League Season 1 winner. And the crazy thing about Vinch, in Season 2, he got relegated. Yeah, I don't know if that will ever happen again. I mean, it's crazy to me. He won a season, the very next season wasn't consistent enough, and then got kicked out, and then eventually made his way back to Platinum League. So that's the thing about this format. Your reputation, your name doesn't carry any weight. You need to simply perform consistently. Now, Vinchester, he makes his way back to Plat here for Season 4. He's playing as the Byzantines. And then in the blue, we have Dogao, who also has made his way back to Platinum League after being relegated one season. The situation with Dogao is tricky, though. Dogao had a 3-week vacation planned in advance. We reached out many months ago about this, but everything was not able to be canceled or shifted. So he traveled across the world. He played this series and will likely play the next 2 sets. The timeline's a little bit fuzzy for me. Away from home. And people on YouTube can see it. Dogao posted a picture on Twitter. I do not know if it is actually real or not. But, I mean, it is real that he had to rent a laptop and all of that. But anyways, he has like a sync setup, apparently, to play on. So I think a lot of people are predicting that Dogao will not last this season because the group is very competitive. Playing 2 to 3 rounds away from home could be really tricky for him. Now, look at this, guys. Vinchester is not taking the Rocky Forest. This is crazy. So, I apologies for not having a lot of time to talk about the map, but I feel it's important to intro the whole season well. And so the way this map is situated, you've got this rocky terrain around the trees. And so if you place a good lumber camp on this, you're still 1 tile off the wood. We pushed a fix to actually push the additional wood lines far away from the players. So all these wood lines, we didn't want them to be too close. Sometimes one player would get this, for example. You could actually tell. It's like there used to be a wood line that would generate there. Anywho, we removed that because we're like, that's not within the spirit of the map. And Vinchester, he scouted quite a bit here, and he actually finds the safe wood line back there anyways. Now, I think that's kind of nice on paper. There will be a point where he may need a second lumber camp, and that's a pretty long distance to run for that, so I'm not necessarily sure that makes that big of a difference, but in the middle will be stone, in the middle will be gold, and lots of hunt as well. So for now, players were just pushing whatever hunt they can towards their TC. Now, late game, this Civ matchup is way better for the Byzantines, but most matchups are. The longer that the game goes with Byzantines involved, the better it typically is for Byzantines. But I mean, especially here, Romans, I think Feudal Age and Castle Age is going to be the most important because you don't really have the units that fare all that well compared to the Byzantines. Byzantines have cheap camels and cheap pikes. They also have cheap skirms if need be. They've got better monks. They've got gunpowder. They've got better siege, basically. Like, I mean, apart from the scorpions, of course, but the Romans are likely picked just for that 5% greater efficiency, and that can help out a lot in the early stages of the games here. So, no real obvious sign that Dogao is not playing from home at the moment. It's important to keep that in mind. And I would assume this would be a scout opening from Dogao, but with Byzantines involved, I was kind of thinking we might see a forward from Vinch. I see lots of spears and skirms. One of Vinch's understudies, one of the players that he trains, a player who's in Gold League, his name is Wide. He played on this map with Mongols, and he made like 15 spears, 15 skirms, and you can't wall it out. So it's really tough to deal with all that. So I wonder if that decision to do that with Mongols was part of Vinchester's teaching or training there. I don't know. Yo, Choppa, thank you for the 10 gifted, my friend. He says war against ads. Thank you. Well, no, 10 people don't have the ads, indeed. Thank you very much, man. Thank you, everyone, for the love and support so far. And the views already have been sick on extras. I know a lot of people can't make the streams all the time, but are still very interested. Or maybe they're interested in watching Titans League at their own pace, which videos allow you to do. So a shout out to the video watchers later on as well. So it was kind of a deer push fest in the Dark Age. Dogao now coming in, and he's not going to see the wood being chopped there, so he's going to assume that the wood's being chopped over here. And Dogao, really? I don't think he's going to expect this. 10 villagers there, just chopping trees freely. It really eliminates a target for Dogao, doesn't it? An area that he'll want to attack. Dogao does open up with skirms. He'll also send a spear forward, but is his scouts just being chased by Vinch right now? It's kind of a funny situation. He must be really confused right now. Assuming he's thinking about that, he's probably like, what in the world? Where is Lumberjacks at? And Dogao pulls away there. Almost ran into the spearman, but wisely protects from it and will bring his own spear over. I expect Vinch to also pull away from the scout if need be. But it's a skirm opening for Dogao, which obviously doesn't feel all that good when you're up against the Byzantines, who could do the same thing, but I think he didn't think the scout opening would accomplish much initially, and he's still happy to be playing with good efficiency. That's the thinking. That 5% greater efficiency is not something the Byzantines have. And now Vinchester scouts forward. So this is the first time that he's scouting Dogao's base. He'll obviously look for that wood line. You can get armor on the spears, but I'm not sure getting armor on the spears really has a big effect against skirms if the skirms get to high amounts. But yeah, it might turn into that. I think it'll, if anything, it'll turn into a scout war from here. And then armor on the spearmen could be helpful for Romans. Cheap spearmen could be helpful for Byzantines. But pretty passive game so far. But again, the prize pool for every league, well, I guess gold and plat, is doubled compared to the previous season. So the placement prizes are much bigger than they were. I think it's a total prize pool of $33,000. And Scout War is going to go to Vinchester there. Vinchester gets the first scout kill of the game. Anyways, technically second kill of the game. But Dogao's got a pretty nice economy here. I like what he's done here. It's really close to the rest of your eco, this wood line. But he has to be careful not to get overwhelmed by Vinch's micro. The scout and the spears shouldn't add a ton to all this for Vinchester. At least if Dogao is smart, right? Dogao shouldn't fire too many volleys at that scout, knowing Vinchester's probably going to use a runner there. But Vinch is going to fake as if he's attacking. Yep, that's exactly what he's going to do. And he does get some hits here on the scout. I mean, it's not bad. Fletching isn't in yet for Vinchester, though. And Fletching is in for Dogao. This is, like, again, a weird situation, because in a skirm war, you'd always prefer the Byzantines. But I don't think this situation is too bad for Dogao. Well, no, I think I've completely misread the situation. I think Vinchester clearly has the numbers. The Spearman isn't something that Dogao really wanted to snipe. And this should be very nice for Vinch. I think Dogao moved out thinking I have Fletching, my opponent does not. This should be fine for me, but he just got overwhelmed with the numbers here. And now, as Dogao tries to rally back and get back home, he's still losing units. It's pretty crazy how Vinchester is worse upgrades, but he's still in such a good position there. 14 farms for him. Dogao on 11. And Dogao... Ooh, Dogao's now going for a second range. Okay. If someone in chat can guess the total amount of skirms produced in this game, assuming it shows up on capture age at the end, someone can guess the exact number. Let's make it interesting. I'll give some subs. I'll give 10 subs to start it off. Because double range from Dogao. Man, Vinch's micro is just insane. He's not giving Dogao any time to chill. Vinchester's like, I saw you're playing on a kitchen sink right now, and so I'm going to have all the faith in microing. But yeah, we're about to see a lot more skirms. Look at Vinch's resources, too. Vinch is probably set to click up here. Like, I've been talking about this more and more, right? Like, Age of Empires 2 is a strategy game, of course. So, yes, your decision-making is key, apart from, like, any potential speed. But if you can get better value from the fights, it affects your decisions. And we see it all the time, right? Like, Dogao has to make additional units to recover because he took a bad fight. And Vinch has made less units overall. And he also has invested less into the upgrades. And Vinch is going to click up to Castlate here. What a smooth start for Vinchester. Super smooth. But he may lose a little bit of map control here. In theory, he should. Double range. But I think Vinchester's got a pretty good game plan here. He does end up chopping the wood over here. Was kind of curious on that. Even took double berries here. And Vinch is now ramping up his production with the skirms to try and match this. Still no fletching. Vinchester microing very confidently on the front. And there Dogao clicks up as well. Market events are not on. My apologies. There we go. Sometimes I'll turn that off if I'm just reviewing games. Wow, we have an H gold here for Dogao. So this is H for helipad or H for help. Once knights show up to his base. I'm not sure. If it was Hidden Cup, I'd say Hera confirmed, but... Oh, or it's an I. True. It could be an I or an H, depending on how you look at it. Nice play from Vinchester, man. I expect big things from Vinchester in this group. Vinch is in really good shape right now. He's very confident. He's very active. Also, he's in a time zone, which I think is a little bit better for him in terms of scheduling with different people now. He's kind of in my time zone. Whereas, I think what was it? Wandering Warriors Cup, he was in Asia. So I think time zone-wise, I don't know how big of an effect that really has on each individual, but at least for me, that would make a bit of a difference. And Vinch is up. Vinch is up. He'll be sending knights forward. The thing is, Dogao should expect this, though. You're on primarily skirm. Maybe he's just expecting Vinch to continue with skirms and spears, actually. Look at it. Crazy micro here, dude. It's just non-stop microing. Really close now. It's 18 to 17 KD. Res collected slightly ahead for Dogao, which you would expect. And now Dogao is up, and he's going to go for knights. But now he sees the knights from Vinch and needs to back away. I think the timing here for Dogao could be okay. I know it looks kind of awkward with two knights on him right now. But he'll have two knights to meet this here in just a second. Regrouping there wasn't necessarily ideal. But I don't know if Vinch will want to force the issue through the choke. We'll see if he does. He's got more knights coming. He should know that he will have more numbers. Dogao also doesn't have armor yet. Vinchester has armor, and he also has forging, and there's a couple spearmen. This is where the wood line is for Dogao. He doesn't have a TC yet. And that's been the theme of this game, is just Vinchester being the aggressor. And it's so awkward for Dogao right now. That's a weak knight in there. It might not even end up killing a villager. But Dogao has to defend this right now. If Dogao loses this area, he'll probably lose the game. And Vinchester just has enough to threaten and harass at all times. But he might end up getting pushed back here. Vinchester only killed one Vill. That may change. There could be some monks out from Dogao as well here soon. The efficiency's not necessarily great, though, for Dogao. So that 5% greater efficiency you have with the Romans has kind of disappeared a little bit. It's kind of interesting how he's just ignoring the skirms and focusing down these knights. But I think Dogao will end up killing the skirms. He'll end up stabilizing this. And Vinch now goes for TC number 2. He is a monastery healing up some weak knights, and this becomes a bit of a boom game. I don't think those camels change enough there if there's this many knights. I could be wrong. But I think Dogao could still take pretty good fights here. Great micro from Dogao. Saving the weak knight there. Beautiful save. Now, what a lot of players end up doing on this map is they'll chop through and then they build their TC in there. On like the hunt and the stone and the gold. That's nice because otherwise your TC would probably be smack dab in the middle of the action, which is obviously awkward for you. Economically, I like Dogao's upgrades. I like the fact he's going for pikemen now as well. It very much suits the Romans, but the longer this matchup goes, the better it is for Byzantines. Vince should know that. Yeah, here's how much stone and gold is on the map. So about 10,000 stone, 35,000 gold is probably roughly what it started with. But the important thing is there's only the main gold and one secondary gold at your base. And then the rest of the gold's in the middle. And pikemen still not really out in the field right now, but Dogao does have the monks. Vinchester's going to engage here. That should be 2 camel conversions. Very surprised that Vinchester engages there. And Vinchester might not end up killing the monks either. That was a horrible engagement for Vinchester. It's funny. So I asked people their predictions for this series, and due to the situation with the vacation for Dogao, a lot of people were saying 3-0 for Vinch. I was thinking the same. So that's been in the back of my mind. Like, when you have a favorite in any series, sometimes it's easy to look at things through a slightly different lens and say, you know, this is obviously going to pan out for one player or the other. So far, if I didn't know that, I think Dogao's playing a pretty clean game. Right? I think knowing that has affected how everyone's viewed it. It certainly affected how I predicted things. Like, I did not predict Dogao to survive. But he's looking to prove people wrong. Love this from Vinchester. Vinchester counterattacking around the outside and finds a few more villager picks. You could tell Dogao, I think, is distracted on the front there. And, oof, this is going to be a pain. Vinchester makes it to the golds. Dogao needs a response there. Vinchester makes it to the wood line. Dogao needs a response there. And now Dogao's also advancing forward, where Vinch could have some big problems. Vinch's wood line still's not easy. I mean, everything along the front could be exposed if he moves out. But Vinchester with a very healthy village. And Dogao needs some damage now. Dogao hasn't killed a villager yet this game. Now he is. Pikes are here. The monks are here for both. But Dogao's pikemen will get converted. His knights get 4 villager kills before running away. And, oh, man. Like, Dogao's still getting destroyed back here by the knights. That'll be 14 vills. That'll be 15 vills killed. And Vinchester having a bit of a rough time, but he does still have the TCs, and he does still have the camels to defend here. Man, Vinchester killed 16 villagers there. That's crazy. He also has the monk here, and he was about to get the conversion, and if that isn't Curse of the Commentator, I don't know what is. Oh, Dogao's doing pretty good. Things aren't actually falling apart for him like he's playing on a kitchen sink. And then he just got destroyed. That counterattack from Vinch was so good. The 3 knights are on the backside. 1 hitting the wood line, 2 hitting the farms, and then headed over to the gold. It was so well executed. He was so fast to the town centers. His eco was super smooth. Something I didn't mention is he already had 2 relics. And so Dogao taps out. It does feel like this is probably over. I understand some people would think that's an early GG, but these knights will get dealt with. And Vinchester's economy setup was pretty clear for Dogao there as well. So, well played from Vinch. $40 in the bank. Gets the first win in TTL Platinum Season 4. And, ooh, we talked about the skirms. Okay, it was 54 skirms. Can I have one of my mods check the VOD to see if anyone guessed 54 skirms? I will be a man of my word if someone actually said 54 skirms. There's no way, right? You can't say it now. Hold on. Guyan says, that's what I said. Oh, he did! 10 minutes ago, he said 54 skirms. God! What are the chances, dude? Okay, fine. We'll gift some subs. It's fine. All right. So I've learned we're not going to bet subs on anything this game. Because if everyone gets involved, that's a slippery slope for me. Welcome. We've got game number 2. This is actually my first cast of Kilimanjaro for this season. There have been some games in Gold League on it, but I haven't been able to see any of those myself. I've like watched them, but I haven't actually casted them. So some people might not be too familiar. Basically, this map is very difficult to play. It is very open and it's very awkward, and that's kind of the point. The wood lines are very easy to chop through, and there's often holes. Plus, there's not many trees to work with in the first place. And then it's pretty much all about controlling the middle of the map. We Excuse me. We made some changes to this map. One of the big things I wanted to tweak on this map was I wanted there to be 2 separate good TC areas up on this hill. I doubt you guys really pay close attention to Kilimanjaro balance, but basically, older versions of Kilimanjaro would usually just have one area like this, and it felt like everyone was fighting for it. So now, technically, you could both have TCs up there, right? And then the other thing, and this is kind of an older tweak, but this is more consistent in the tournament version, is there's the double shorefish. That is consistent. If you play ranked Kilimanjaro, that is not always the case. This is a nice little 400 food boost there. Apparently, my stream is down. Hold up. I'm dropping frames. Pause. Sorry, YouTube. Are we good? Are we back? Refresh, people? Are we good? I blame the birds. There's an obnoxious amount of birds on the map. I think we're good. I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry. I dropped frames. We're back. Cool. So yeah, we actually made adjustments to the amount of birds on the map as well. This may be the older version, but it's kind of funny how there's so many birds. That actually gets fixed. Some people will say it didn't need a fix, but if you really look for them, they are everywhere. So, Magyars for Vinchester, obviously, if you know the Magyars, this is going to be perfect map for them. If Dogao isn't walled up, it could be very dangerous. But Hindustanis are just as dangerous with the scout opening. They could bust through walls very quickly. Very cheap vills to recover from losing some. And they have great camels, great cav archers. So, for whatever reason, we tend to see a lot of camel civs on this map from what I've seen. And Dogao, yikes, made me nervous. Sometimes I just don't trust players these days when they're bringing in resources underneath their TC. Especially Vinchester. Vinchester has a problem with shooting his boars with his TC ever since they kind of reintroduced that one issue. But yeah, I would expect the mill to go up on the shorefish from both, and then eventually a second mill for the berries. The shorefish food income is faster than the berries, but the berries is still equally as important. And Choppa says T90, I bet you 10 subs that Vinchester wins this one. Yeah. Wow, what a courageous bet. After I showed that Dogao may be playing on a kitchen sink. What a courageous bet. By the way, Dogao hasn't collected these yet. I don't... there's going to be lots of games. I don't want to bet right now. I just lost a bet. Also, holy birds on Vinchester's side. Look at all the birds. They're all around Vinch. You go over to Dogao's land, 0 birds. You go to Vinch's base, he's surrounded by birds. So either the birds are choosing the winner, or these are like vultures. And they realize that Vinchester's a dead man. Okay, technically they're storks. So, whatever that means. 2 lumber camps for Vinch. He'll click up. And, again, expected to see lots of army here. But not an easy map to wall up if you want to protect from that army. Players are normally going to opt to do it. But always easier said than done, right? Now, I like Vinch's starting situation a bit better because the wood is positioned a bit easier to protect. Like, having those 2 back wood lines is very nice. What will be an issue for Vinch long-term is more of the forward map control. Obviously, same deal for Dogao, but it's actually helpful for Dogao that the hill is a bit further away from his base. This hill is directly next to wherever Vinch will try and produce. Now, people are going to opt to try and control the hill, but you always have to remember there's wood and stone and gold in the corners as well. So sometimes you have fun situations where players will get a villager lead because they're safely booming here, and they don't take the risk to the middle. But I would expect both players to really want to combine for the middle here. It should be stable from both. Vinchester finds Dogao's base. Dogao about to find Vinchester's base. Oh, he did find it already, seeing the barracks there, so. Flammable Chips, thank you for the year, my friend. Sorry I missed that. Daniela gifted subs as well. Holy crap, thank you, guys. Thank you, 10 pounds towel. Appreciate the sub. And hello, everybody. Welcome in. Lots of people who weren't here at the start. Good day, good day, good day. So the shorefish will slowly disappear. Then we'll see a transition onto farms and the berries for food. And both players going for scouts as expected. And both players confirming that as well, so they know. But Vinch is hoping to make it messy again. He did the same thing in the previous game where he went with 2 spears right away. And I love it from Vinch. Like, he was very flexible in trying to schedule with Dogao, well aware of Dogao's situation. And I think if you have that intel that your opponent may not be playing on their own setup, or even that scheduling's difficult, that life's a little bit busy for them, and you're Vinchester, I mean, it's just an open invitation to be even more aggressive. And you see the forward berries, and you see those spearmen now from Dogao in defense. And Vinch is walling. Again, against Hindustanis, it's kind of dangerous to rely only on the walls, just because the Hindustani scouts could break through pretty quickly. But I'm really liking Vinch's economic transitions. He added 5 farms, still is the shorefish, just now going to the berries. And Dogao... Man, it'd be crazy if Vinch could actually find some damage there. Dogao gets a nice little quick wall. And Dogao is getting attacked by those scouts with the forging upgrade, but trading somewhat evenly here at least. And then the spears are also trading evenly on the hill. But just actually a bit of a struggle from both. Both 43 seconds of TC idle time. Pretty crazy that they're both at that number. Things look pretty smooth for Vinchester so far. I have Vinchester going second in this group, I believe, in my predictions. I think I have the group winner as ACCM. But I'm going to repeat this because I'm trying my best to memorize the groups already. It always takes me a bit of time every season. But this group has Dogao, Vinch, ACCM. I think I have... It also has Tato and MBL. Poof, man, that's a crazy group, actually. I don't remember what my predictions were. Maybe I had Tato second and Vinch third. I think that is maybe more likely what I had. And then there's also Capwatch. Poof, crazy, 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 crazy group. 4 people survive, 2 people get relegated. Top 3 go playoffs, 4th place just survives. That's it. It'd be so epic, though, man. Like, getting to watch these players play in a survival scenario, too, the final week or two would be epic. Obviously, the fight for the playoffs is huge as well. That's a lot of scouts from Vinchester, and Vinchester knows he has the advantage as well. He knows he has the advantage in numbers, but Dogao's doing just enough here to hold back, and again, well played from Dogao. KD's pretty even. Now they're both up to 49 seconds of TC idle time. What are the odds that they have the same exact amount of idle TC time? Each and every time. And now we have full walls from Vinch. The theme to me is just the fact that Dogao hasn't been over to Vinch's base yet. Like, he's just been defending. He's also going for some massive walls. Now, he will secure almost everything behind these walls. He could still take this gold. He could take multiple stones. He's got lots of wood to work with. But it does take a lot of time. I don't necessarily mind it, though, if you're Hindustanis, because even if your opponent's walled by the time you get over there, you're still able to break through the walls pretty quickly. That's not a good one for Dogao. Kind of gifts one scout. And Vinch is not finished. Archers and scouts will be on the way in combination. And they'll come to break these walls. And Dogao just hoping these spearmen are going to get hits now. And I think... I think in Dogao's mind, this is about getting to Castle Age now. Really important that he spots the archers coming forward from Vinchester. If Vinch can sneak forward with those archers and these scouts, he could break through these walls pretty quickly. And Dogao could have some pretty big problems in Feudal Age. Actually, I'm not sure if he saw that archer there. I think if he was paying attention, he might have spotted it. But Vinch sees the scout is here, and Vinch will move out now with the archers. That's a great move from Vinch. Dogao will likely cook up to Castle Age faster. But the only thing he has in the middle of the map is 2 spearmen. And the archers can take care of that, which means the scouts can attack some walls and pressure. This could get difficult for Dogao. Vinch will bring the Spearman in, and Dogao sees it. Okay, so I think the best thing for Dogao right now is to make more scouts. He could always make skirms behind the walls, I guess. But I would have loved to see a couple more scouts here. Maybe he'll do this. He'll do both. Because if you had a scout here, for example, just to snipe that, that's one archer kill. Hopefully the spears could maybe come over still. This is some good pressure from Vinchester. It feels kind of similar to the first game. Now, he isn't faster to Castle Age this time, but he's got calculated aggression. It's going to be really good to set up his position in the next age. And Vinchester will click up to Castle Age maybe after one more Vil, and Dogao desperate here with skirms behind, but he's repairing. He does have skirms behind. It looks like here was Vinchester's focus, killing the scout and the spearman there. But Dogao holds. Dogao survives. This is a lot of walls to protect here. No Shoes Drew says Team 90 should give subs if they both end up with the same TC idle time. Man, I make one bet and I lose, and suddenly people are all over me to do it again. Greedy chat. Greedy chat. I mean, maybe. How's this? If they have the same... fine, I'll take it. I'll take it. Even with no promise and reward from chat, I'll take it. If they have the same amount of TC idle time at the end of this game, I'll give 10 subs. That's fine. It's not going to happen. There's no way. They're really close right now, but there's no way. It's very rare. Second range now from Vinch. He doesn't have the biggest archer mass, so I doubt he'll go for crossbowman. A nice defensive play there from Dogao. Things got a little bit dicey, but in the end, he holds. He will be faster to Castle Age. Has his scouts here. Scouts should kill that villager from Vinch, and that'll be our first villager kill. And remember, Hindustani vills are much cheaper. So now the Hindustani players on camels. Their camels also attack faster. Vinchester's army has accomplished very little. Should mention as well, acacia trees have 150 wood. So while the wood will run out back here, it's not as bad as it could be. Vinch again with an exposed Vil and gets the quick walls down. But it's Hindustani scouts. But it's also Magyar scouts. Dogao backs away. Oh my god, is it 51 seconds for both right now? What? Tilted Skirm says if their TC idle time is off by more than 10 minutes, I'll give 10 subs. By more than 10 minutes? What type of crap is that? That's a scam. More than 10 minutes. Second TC now on the stone. And Dogao's got control of that middle area. These scouts, though, I feel like this is going to be key for Vinchester. He has even more attack now being Magyars. I didn't love Vinchester's archer range placement. The fact that he even considered that one and I guess deleted it was a bit awkward for me. He really needs cav archers out there right now. And Dogao needs some defense here. He's sending the camels over to deal with that. But those light cav are probably... Or scouts are going to make it through. Doesn't seem like Dogao is going to be able to make it through over here. Camel actually sacrifices itself for the cause, but that's good value there for Vinch, if you ask me. And nice defense there from Vinch. There was never any real risk Dogao was going to break through there, because he doesn't have enough range units, but Vinchester's villagers have a death wish. So that's a couple vills down there for Vinchester. I think Vinch is looking at this. Dogao is looking at his vill kills, not realizing now that he's getting attacked. And again, these are Magyar scouts. This is so valuable. And Dogao with the kitchen sink micro. Has a good moment there. I hope you guys are ready for the kitchen sink jokes, because I'm going to continue to make those jokes because of Dogao's setup. Oh, man, but that was not good for Dogao. And clearly just focused on this. It's hard for me not to reference it with how ridiculous it looks. For anyone who hasn't seen it, I can show in between games. So I think Scorpions now would probably be the best addition for Dogao. Elite Skirm would have been great, but with only 4 Skirms on the map, I don't necessarily see that being easy. Second TC just now from Vinchester. And Dogao's position is based pretty nicely to make life awkward for Vinch. and getting any damage done. Now, you're torn right now if you're Dogao. You need to defend from the Cav Archers, but also I think his mind is very much set on getting a TC right here. Close game here. Again, considering Dogao's situation, the fact that he is playing away from home, it becomes so valuable to at least snag a win here. I mean, obviously you win the series, and this could be amazing. This is really good for Dogao. But you probably need to keep the camel mass up with the Scorpions. I think this gets a little bit dangerous if the camel number starts to drop. It's easier to produce Cav Archers than it is to produce camels right now when booming. But there were some leftover camels back here. This feels like the time for Dogao to maybe move forward. And Vinchester as well. Vinchester 2 TCs. They will both want a town center on the hill. Oh, man. And now Vinchester runs right into the camels there. 3 Cav Archers disappear. Vinch is getting thumb ring for 8 Cav Archers. That's not the number he would want. And the Scorpions are here as well. How are you supposed to stop this right now if you're Vinch? I think the best thing you could have is a couple monks out, which he does have to convert, but you still can't convert the Scorpions easily. We can see it, but this would be the time for Dogao. If he wants this hill, this would be the moment. He doesn't know that Vinchester is placed a TC here. I don't think... Ghoulam is an interesting idea against Cav Archers, but I really just think that the Camels, the Scorpion combination is good enough. I think if Dogao wants a castle, if anything, it's just for what a castle brings him. Vinchester will do his best here to micro down the Scorpion. Great work, actually. But Dogao is just going to dive for this. 1 camel gets converted. Armor now coming in for Dogao. And Vinchester will struggle to take wood even. Yeah, look at his wood situation. Look at these vills dropping off wood there. He needs another wood line. Dogao probably needs some monks of his own. Maybe some repairs here. There's pikemen now as well for Vinchester in the comp. He gets another conversion there. And the conversions have been so valuable for Vinch. It used to be 4 Scorpions. Dogao dropping his town center over here, surprisingly. Wow. If anything, that's a bit riskier than even coming to the hill here. +2 armors in, but the Scorpions disappear for Dogao. I think this turned around a bit more than I was expecting here. With those 4 Scorpions, I expected them to stick around for a while. It could have been better for Dogao with his unit control. Camels are now headed this direction. So he's going to completely give up the middle control and avoid those CA. Maybe go for a side raid. And here comes Vinchester now to the hill. This is, again, where I think one of these players will want a town center. Vinch has monks, Vinch has pikes, Vinch has CA. This combo is great against the camels now. Dogao will fall back with his Scorpions. He knows he can't be out in open field. Still no ballistics for Vinchester. Vinch was able to snag 1 relic. Looks like there's relic number 2. And Dogao knows he's exposed at home. That gold is really vulnerable. He definitely wants a castle. I think Dogao will just fight this. I don't know if it'll work, but I think you just need to fight this. He has armor. He's Hindustanis. Just take the engagement. Push those CA away. He deletes the camel. He actually deleted the camel the monk was focused on, but now there's more monks here. And I don't know. Will Dogao fight this as well? He'll have the hill. He'll kill the monks at least, so they can't get future conversions. I don't mind that fight for Dogao. That gives you the position. And again, I mentioned Dogao's not at home. He's playing from a hotel. Might have been a bit of lag there, but that's still a decent engagement. Now Vinch thinks he can win the fight. Vinch will want a TC right there. Dogao wants a castle at the same time, though, and I just don't think Vinchester can freely place a TC there. There's more Scorpions again for Dogao. And there's the castle foundation. If this castle goes up, what is Vinchester's game plan here? It's going to be so tricky for him. 7 Scorpions soon for Dogao. And Dogao, 3 TCs. Now, his idle TC time has risen quite a bit here. But that's normal when you're producing this many food units and vills. Oh, Dogao's going to get crazy with this castle? Bro, are you kidding me? Just place it on the hill, Dogao. Dogao said, I will place it on the hill. I'm placing it further forward on the hill. He wants a castle to end the game right now. He's got 7 vills. 7 vills building this castle is crazy. Even if he sent 15, I'd be kind of surprised. But let's see. The Scorpions are getting some good damage. There are still camels here. The castle's at 40%. This puts Vinchester under so much pressure. And look at Vinchester's lumber camps, man. Like, this is the only place he's been chopping wood. The camels are all over him. The castle will go up. Crazy play from Dogao. And yeah, Dogao wisely backs off with his camels here. I do think you don't want it to throw away all your numbers here. But once this castle goes up, siege can follow. The TC for Vinchester will go down. And Vinch is going to be so stuck. Like, Vinch is going to go imp? But, like, how is he supposed to stay alive here? I think Dogao really needs fletching right now for that castle to range that TC. Also, look at Dogao's vision. He's got outposts along the left side, so he knows Vinch is kind of stuck here. And he'll send in some armored elephants to go for this TC. I think Vinch will make it to Imperial. There's no doubt in my mind he'll make it to Imp as long as he clicks up in one of the safe TCs. But is he really going to have a nice position when he gets there? This is tough. Behind this, there's 4 TCs for Dogao that can produce vills. His food eco's not the best, but still. And he's got, like, 7 Scorpions still. And yeah, there's a castle from Vinch. Obviously, Vinch's plan here is Imp into Trebs. But his gold income is these 3 relics, sorry, and these 2 tiles of gold. That's 600 gold. Crazy play from Dogao to go forward castle like that. Now, here's my thinking. Like, if the castle's not on the TC, it might be something he regrets a little bit. Because usually you want that castle to shoot the TC down. Obviously, it was already very far forward. So it's not as if... It was already risky is my point. It's not as if it's easy there. 20 CA for Vinch. Vinch is 90 seconds away. Dogao's not up yet. So Vinch is like sort of kind of barely in this game. And maybe I shouldn't use the word barely. I mean, the CA have good upgrades. He'll have Trebs out. He does add a Magyar Hussar here to snipe the Scorpions. That's always nice to see. It makes me sad that Magyar Hussars have wings, but, like, I feel like they're not respected enough, you know? Because there's actual winged Hussars now. It's like someone stole their wings. What's going on, man? Pikemen get chewed up here. And Dogao is up. Okay. So Dogao is up. He's still making camels. And he's doing what type of raiding he can. We'll snipe some vills. We'll snipe the monk. And Vinch's situation still isn't great here, but Vinchester will have Trebs on the way. Just comes down to if Dogao's eco is good enough to continue to produce camels. So love the outposting from Dogao on the left side of the map. It's crazy that Vinch doesn't even know that he has eco there. Vinch would never expect that. A fallback castle from Dogao up on the hill. Probably expecting to lose this one. Oh! No way, dude! Dude! No way! Okay, it's gonna go up. It's gonna go up. Never a doubt. Doubt's in Group A, not in Group C. And Castle goes up. Castle could actually help and kill some CA. And Dogao now still like 70 seconds away from imp upgrades. The CA in Vinchester's hands could be devastating to these camels. I could see this getting really difficult for Dogao. Dogao needs to keep these camels alive. And I'm actually a little surprised that Vinchester pulled his CA back. I think he's probably concerned that he doesn't have enough Treb protection, which is fair. He may have gotten raided over here a little bit by camels as well. Yeah, I think Vinch right now is worried that his Trebs will be attacked by the camels here in a second. Dogao makes it up to Imp. What a great game from Dogao. Imp armor's on the way. Heavy camel should follow. He'll eventually want skirm upgrades, but he doesn't really have the resources for both right now. Vinch just has no map control, man. He has no protection, and the camels are slicing and dicing Vils. And still, Dogao has this castle. He still has the TC. He still has all those resources. He still has taken the side resources, too. But the comp for Vinch is going to be very tough for only Camel to deal with. And Vinchester now running to the hill for something. And, oh my god, he's placed his castle foundation on top of Dogao's TC. Okay, so that's what his goal is. But he doesn't know the TC is there. Now he does. Now he's placing a castle. Oh, crap. Will that go up? Can Dogao win this fight? That's a lot of pikemen there for Vinch, too. I don't think Dogao can allow this castle to go up. But I also don't know if he can deny this. Heavy camels in 5 seconds. Here we go. The TC will kill off some of the pikes. The castle's 50%. Dogao can't kill everything. You either kill the Vils or you kill the army. I don't think you can kill both. Let's see if I'm wrong. The camels are killing a lot of the cav archers. There are skirms here. The castle's at 85%. But the TC for Dogao is not enough. The castle for Vinch goes up. Oh, man. And now look at all the eco Dogao has here. This is so crazy, man. Now, Dogao's going to shift into mainly skirmisher, which is actually quite good against what is out in the field. It's unfortunate he didn't have the skirms out a little bit earlier. If he had the skirms out with the camels and denies that castle, it's probably GG. But now, this is all like right next to Dogao, and it's a lot of pressure for him to deal with. Also, he's out of gold. He doesn't see this gold. He has no relics. He doesn't have any vision on golds on the right side. So I think this is on the hill is really his only gold income. What a great game from Vinch to bring it back, dude. Like, it looks so tough for him. He's lost 45 Vils this game, but he just keeps coming. I think the CA just got such good value. The pikeman just got such good value against the camel. And Vinch was patient to take the hill at the right time. Now he still needs to take this castle. There's a trebuchet here from Dogao that already trebbed down one of the trebs from Vinch. But there's so many different spots that Dogao needs to pay attention to, because he's exposed everywhere at the moment. Golems will go in. They've got no armor. They'll die so fast. But the goal is to snipe a treb. He doesn't get the treb snipe there. And behind this, Vinch's army count is just skyrocketing here. He's up to 43 army. It's only 17 for Dogao. I think it's clear, like, now Vinch is able to make some other decisions. Expand over to the golds. Snag upgrades he didn't have before. Still just has this one treb. And Dogao is getting more and more upgrades for these skirms. He was late on armor, late on chemistry. He'll have fully upgraded skirms here in a minute. And that would prompt Vinchester to make a switch into light cav or something. And the treb goes down for Vinchester. So I think this is actually about to hit a point where Vinch's army isn't good anymore. With these skirm upgrades, Vinch needs something completely different. And anything that you would suggest to Vinchester is countered by camels as well. Dogao also has outposted the right-hand side. Found some golds, and there's available stones over there as well. And he has a treb. At least, like, one treb. What a game. What a crazy game. It's going to get even crazier, though, because Dogao doesn't have his skirms over here. So Vinch can start to raid some of this. And now... and now Vinchester doesn't have defense for this. And so now Dogao's going to raid as well. Guys, they're both going to just start dying at the same time. This is Kilimanjaro for you. The map is just so open. Vinch accidentally clicked his treb underneath the opponent's TC. Dogao is raiding over here and will even build a TC there. He's also building a TC here. Dogao is importantly also trebbing this castle at the same time. This is ridiculous. It's such an important win for both of them, though. This is such a competitive group. Like, for most of the players in this group, it might come down to the final week. You might look back at a game or two and say that You would have made the playoffs. You would have stayed alive. Had one single game gone differently. Dogao's definitely making some good progress here, but the fact that it's just one Treb makes me think it won't be enough to take the castle out. But the raids over here could still pay off a lot. He did lose a lot over here. There's been 120 villager deaths in this game. Vinch was just starting to get his food eco expanded so he could switch into light cav. Or I guess it's just more Magyar Hussar. But now his food eco is being raided by the camels. Such a crazy game. Nice pikeman raid there from Vinchester. Vinch does have the villager lead. Vinch does have 4 relics. I think if Vinch can keep the cav archer mass high enough and get the food eco to actually go, like, continue to make Magyar Hussars, I prefer his comp. But Camel Skirm is just so good right now against what he's making. You don't normally see Magyars make pikemen, but the pikemen have played a good role here for Vinch. And here, Vinchester still trying to hold his castle. The pikemen may actually die here. And so villagers will die for Vinch. What a game. Dogao still hasn't noticed this. The Trebs are still here. Treb got sniped by Dogao. The Magyar Hussars are still killing Dogao's vills. Okay, Dogao needs middle now. If this is how this is going, Dogao needs to win the middle. Man, these Ghoulems killed 20 villagers as well. This is crazy, dude. They're both having such massive problems. It was 60 vill kills for both. Now it's 90 vill kills for both. Vinch, oh, this is so good, actually. Vinch's castle got 35 kills this game. He's had his CA inside of that castle. And now the Magyar Hussars are here, and the Magyar Hussars have a bonus for siege. Is it enough? Oh, I think the castle falls anyways. That final Treb shot takes the castle out. Wow, what a moment, dude. The Magyar Hussar will snipe the bombard cannon. Magyar Hussar could maybe help against the skirms, and Vinch is just going to build another castle. His trebuchets are exposed now. The pikemen killed all the vills over here. 22 villager kills. And these camels also have 26 villager kills. But Vinchester has more villagers, and he has more army. He still is a Treb. He'll still have the middle hill. He also has a defensive castle here. He still has 4 relics, which has brought him 3,000 gold. And maybe the Dogao has just kind of hit a wall here. I think the big thing for Dogao was he didn't react to this raid, which is completely understandable because there's so many different things to look at. But it's kind of a full reset for him with military, right? He has to start from 0 with skirms again. And if you don't have the skirm count up, you're going to have some massive problems here. Still, these camels are around, but I think Vinch can deal with that. Look at Vinch's lumber camps. The efficiency's so bad. But he's bringing more Trebs to the hill. I wonder how important this TC will be for Dogao. Being able to take that extra golden stone. Not being raidable is huge because he's so exposed everywhere else. But the Magyar Hussars from Vinch have split up. There's one here underneath the farms. There's one here where there used to be a TC. Vinch always has just enough protecting his Trebs as well. It's obviously sloppy because he's reacting to the camel raid. He's also reacting to the skirms here. And Dogao is hoping to have an opportunity to snipe those Trebs. 200 villager kills in this game. But still a 30 villager lead for Vinchester. And Vinchester has a really good setup to reboom, too. All the TCs are really close together. He's got castles to protect. I think Dogao's last chance is right here, this bombard cannon. He needs a moment to stabilize. And if Vinch is distracted, if Vinch is maybe looking over here, looking at some of his raids, maybe he has an opportunity. Okay, he snipes one of the Trebs. Oh, man, but Vinch found this area. Vinch is everywhere. He's freaking everywhere, dude. He's here. He's defending here. He was just raiding in the main eco. He's also still has pikemen over here. And I don't think Dogao notices this. And even though Vinch's pop is going down by 20, which is kind of crazy, it feels like he's winning more than he was. just because of the amount of raids he's been able to get with these Magyar Hussar. He also was very late to... No, he never got Corvinian Army, so the Magyar Hussar have cost 10 gold each. Normally, you want to snag that tech, because your Magyar Hussars will just cost food then. But what a good addition it's been from Vinch. Pretty rare that we see that. A lot of people don't go for them. A lot of people would just add stables to go for light cav. It's not 10 gold for a Magyar Hussar? I thought it was... Okay, well, whatever. It might as well be 1 million. Obviously, it wasn't 1 million, but you probably should get the tech regardless. Dogao is just... He just has no way to defend all these different areas right now. It's so tough. And GG's called. What a game. Oh, man. Dogao was so close there, guys. He was so close to winning that game. And, you know, I felt as though the forward castle was maybe a little bit risky. But actually, I like the forward castle. I think the forward castle did a lot for him. It put Vinch in a tough spot to make decisions. The main issue for Dogao was the skirm switch was maybe just ever so slightly too late. Like, the first skirms that he fought with were lacking an upgrade or two, and maybe he needed 5 or, like, 10 more units. And that didn't happen for him. And Vinchester, with some great stubbornness to hold the hill, did a really good job there. Vinchester lost 118 villagers that game, but he killed 141 to somehow outboom the Hindustanis, or at least, like, I don't know, have more vills than the Hindustanis is also not easy because the Hindustani vills are super cheap, right? Food eco was there for Dogao. But, you know, another thing to mention here is I wonder if Vinchester was just saved by those relics. Normally, when someone's collected 14,000 gold, I wouldn't say that 4 relics made that big of a difference in this type of game. But, like, he was at the limit with gold the entire time. If he never snagged those relics, if he was down 3k gold, I think he would have lost. No recurve bow, no trebs, maybe a few upgrades he would have missed. It was huge. What a great game. So, it's a playoff 3, but we will move on to Vinchester's home map next. So, obviously not what Dogao would have wanted. But that's what Kilimanjaro is all about, man. Crazy, crazy stuff. Here we are, and we're all good. So, this is Vinchester's home map. Obviously, considering the scoreline, this is a very good opportunity for Vinchester. Vinchester's playing as the Persians. And then we have the Japanese for Dogao. So, both of these picks, top picks for this map. Evac, you start on a massive barren island, which you eventually want to escape from. But it's... The safe land, the area of land you really want to be at is just far enough away where it's not really justifiable at the very start. So you've got the water aspects. You do have some gold and stone and food and wood, if I didn't say that, around your starting TC. But eventually, you want to move out here. Now, this isn't necessarily the biggest deal, but it could be awkward for Dogao. I'm just noticing... Typically, there is a wood line near the berries and the deer. The only thing that's fixed is the boar, the berries, and the deer. It's always fixed in that same spot. You always have a cow there, too, so, like, that's something to expect. But if Dogao wanted to, say, like, take wood and also take berries in the same spot, he wouldn't be able to. He scouts that nice and early to see. It's actually pretty open there. Does see the gold, the stone, the boar. Now... Both these civs are pretty sick with their hybrid starts. I'm curious to see how they approach it. Because sometimes players will go super heavy on water, like 2 docks. But if you invest too heavily into water, you could just lose everything on land. So, map is very difficult. Social Taco, thank you for the 10 months. Says, wanted to share a fun idea. In your latest McLean video, you challenged the viewers to attempt his strategy. I'd love to see you cast viewer challenges. Could result in some entertaining situations. That would be fun. I think when TTL is over, that's an idea I can pursue. Where I basically, like, I'll do a challenge for 2 weeks and say, hey, guys, I want you to try this strat. And then people can submit their attempts. That could be pretty fun. I imagine, like, if I announce the challenge is, like, I don't know. I can't think of an idea right now, but if I announce a challenge and then you're up playing the ladder and you play someone playing that civilization, it might kind of mind game you a little bit into thinking that they're going to try that, you know? So Dogao pushing in some deer. The other thing you can do, and this is what Vinch is opting to do, is there's actually just lots of cows around. So you can move your scout around, grab as many cows as possible, send those cows home instead of pushing in deer. I've even seen some players use their starting scout to bring in the boar at the very start, but we haven't had either player do that here. But I think, like, unit comp-wise, long-term, this is very good for the Japanese. Halb and Cav Archer is very tough for the Persians to stop. Economically, though, the Persians are much stronger, in my opinion. So I'd say, like, Persians feel easier to play up until maybe mid-Castle Age, where, as I said, maybe Cav Archers become a bit of a factor, right? Vinchester already bringing villagers out here, which is quite early. Feels like probably for a second lumber camp, but it could also be for a mill there. And Dogao's horse is going to go check that out. Dogao's docked on the back, so is Vinchester, kind of expected. And no loom on that Vill. And you also can't quick wall on the crossing. Dogao's going to aim to get this villager kill, and if he doesn't get this villager kill, it would be so bad for him, and he gets it. He does pretty much sacrifice his scout. But that's really well played. Also, Vinchester had a bit of idle time underneath the TC there as well, so... Just don't lose your scout, Dogao. Just don't lose your... Oof. Alright, well now he knows. Vinch will chop the trees there. Now, what was Dogao's build going to be? Remember, acacia trees have 150 wood. So, even though the wood lines are bigger out here, this wood line, let's count the trees here, shall we? We have 4,500 wood. 7,400 wood. Okay, and that's how many trees? Like, quick math, like 74. Here, we'll just count the acacia trees. There's 25 trees, and it's still 3,500 wood. So you combine all that with the cheap Japanese lumber camps, can be pretty good for you there. And here comes lumber camp number 2 for Dogao. What did Vinch scout here? So it's kind of interesting, right? Vinch scouted this, also sees there's no woodline there, but he never scouted far enough to really know to look back here. So many different areas to look for. He's worried about a barracks right now. Japanese would normally have that along the front for man-at-arms. So that's what he'll look for. He'll see this. And that timing, though, isn't man-at-arms. That timing's usually archers. Vinch should know that, because he's doing the same. At least I think so. It could be Vinchester going scouts, too. Also, it seems like Vinchester's master plan in this area is to wall it. But considering he hasn't fully scouted this... It's crazy, but just seeing these trees helps you justify the walling so much more. Dogao knows he's been scouted. Dogao will actually drop a stable. And he drops the stable after Vinchester's seen the gold. So Vinch is assuming a lot of things. Vinch will try and steal the cows. The spearmen will round them up. Helpful for Dogao. And then we also have a stable from Vinch. Wow, so this is a lot of walling from Vinch. I like this, though. I think this is really important on evac. You don't want army to be able to just freely go over your own crossing. And we saw a game... Chat will type a 1 if they saw the epic game between Lewis and Say My Name. So that game, I think what saved Lewis was this wall. Because his opponent's archers pathed into the TC... Because Say My Name didn't think about that wall being a possibility. And I really think if you're properly preparing for this map, you do want to wall there. In fact, I mean, evacuation isn't played in a lot of tournaments, so it's still very new. But I actually think future versions of evacuation, I may even remove the ability to wall there. That's a whole side conversation, though. But you see the difference. Vinchester's able to actually head over here, and he's got 2 scouts. But I think... Dogao spotted that. A scout opening from both. It'll be scouts into archers for Dogao. He is on the hill against that 1 scout, so that's good fight for him. Oh, man, and Dogao also got some sick walls to protect there at the same time. That's crazy from Dogao. He also added a fire galley, but the fire galley's headed this way. Vinchester's not really doing too much on the water. He just produced 1 fire galley and stopped there. And Vinch has scouted with the cow. It looks like he'll get a full wall down unless Dogao heads out that way. And there are the scouts from Vinchester running back home. And there are the scouts from Dogao. He has seen some of the wall. Now, he could just camp the fire galleys here, and then anytime Vills try and go over, they get spotted. The fire ships will find each other. The scouts are here for Dogao. Dogao should kill that villager. And this will be the second eco kill from him in the game. Remember, he killed the one in Dark Age as well. Also brings in another fire galley here to contest Vinch. Vinch won't have another fire galley for a minute. That will be a kill, but Dogao isn't sending the other one forward again. And Dogao now comes out to the berries. Berries in the hunt, which Vinchester's already doing. Dogao will also wall to simplify things. And so slight edge for him, but Vinchester's done a lot to make life less complicated for himself here. Being walled everywhere is crazy strong. But does Vinchester know about like, is he prepared for this? Feels like he's going to go raid the wood line from Dogao, which could be great reward because there's 3 Vills there. They're not really protected. Even this Vill could be spotted. But now Vinchester's definitely going to lose this villager. Okay, Dogao's going to lose that one. That could actually be good. The fact that Dogao notices that could be good because you could maybe save these 3. But Vinch has no defense at home now on land, and he'll quickly drop some houses here, quickly drop a tower. And Dogao moves on through, snipes the spearman. Dogao could just move around this, guys. Like, honestly, just... The tower disrupts you a little bit, but you could still move around that. I don't think there's much stopping you there. Dogao did wall in those Vills. These Vills are still completely safe and protected by the spears. And see what Dogao chooses to do here. Finch is just no army. And more spears are over from Dogao. Their Japanese spearmen attack pretty fast. Not that fast, though. Nice job from Vinch. I'm kind of baffled. Like, I think if Dogao moved around, he could find lots of damage here. The fact that he's just going home right now is wild to me. And now Vinchester's like... Vinchester has 8 army versus 17, but it actually feels like he might be able to find more damage than Dogao ever can. Because Dogao was just confused because of these walls. One of the spearmen Dogao had in defense out here just got sniped by the fires. And so now the scouts are on the way. Good engagement, though. The spearman's getting the mop up here, and I think Vinch is looking here right now. Dogao's about to be through. Vinch will lose basically all of his scouts. He didn't kill a Vill. Vinchester is up, but these units are about to be through. Life is about to be very, very difficult for Vinchester. He had to mine stone for even another tower to protect all of this. Remember, there are still fishing ships for Dogao. He is more on water than his opponent does. And Vinchester gets the tower up just in time. This is kind of what I mean, though, right? Like, Dogao's map, not having that woodline on the front is definitely awkward for him. He's played very well considering. Dogao's scouts and archers just haven't been able to kill enough. And so, considering he still hasn't clicked up, maybe there's opportunities for Vinchester here to use a couple knights to raid an open area. I would say right now, like, Dogao's thinking has to be TC here. Eventually, that's what you want in Castle Age. But also, like, there's been so much time with these scouts and archers. It's crazy to me he hasn't been able to find a little bit more damage. There's still villagers around. But Vinch is either towering when he needs to, just moving into the perfect positions when he needs to. Scouts are just attacking the houses here, which is kind of interesting. And I think Dogao is going to be hard-pressed to find the damage he wants with the archers now. Dogao sold all of his stone, so he won't be in a position for a second TC. But this is open now. So Vinchester has to respect that there may be something else coming through here at any point. Dogao has crazy resources right now. He's 6 fishing ships with Japanese against just the 2 from Vinchester. But these are Persian Knights, and Persian Knights do extra attack versus archers. And even if they weren't Persians, those archers are going to die anyways, right? Where will Vinchester go now? Dogao will be 2 ranges. And we'll need some cav archers here. But this is going to be Vinchester in a position of full control right now. Not going to be a ton of control for Dogao. I feel like with his resources, if he could be on 3 ranges, things would be a lot better for him right now. Oh man, and the knights run through. The villagers are moving this way. There's not a ton of army to protect this. Knights are also double checking over here. Dogao's walling that up. This map is so difficult. Meanwhile, the fires will pressure what's left of Vinchester's fish. The knights actually made it through. There was an overchop there. Knights here as well also found a couple Vil picks. Looks like they killed 2 villagers, maybe 2 spearmen. Dogao brings his scouts over with the CA, and he could probably deal with these knights. And this is where I think he really just needs a TC. And you're next to the gold, next to the wood. You're in a very nice position there. But there's TC number 2 now for Vinchester. And Vinchester's had a lot of time to cook here. Now, his villagers are literally going to get cooked by the fires if he doesn't have any protection there. Nice micro from Dogao. Not really sure how roasted villager tastes. I wouldn't try it. It's not like Vinch doesn't have any food eco. He still has the farm, still has a little bit of berries. And this is a pretty close game right now. It's taking Dogao a little bit of time to stabilize things because the knight pressure from Vinch made things awkward. But now he's on Cav Archer, which you want with Japanese. And now he'll have monks around the map as well to convert any random knights that could come through. And he still has the water control. So, once this gets to 15 Cav Archers with ballistics, things get very complicated for the knight player. Vinch does have Scorpions, though. So, Scorpions currently being used offensively. Could be a big change, and this is Dogao's golden come. The Scorpions come forward, archers go down, villagers get pulled off the resources. Dogao does end up killing most of the knights, though. And actually, Vinchester needs to be very careful here, because if Dogao adds one of his own knights, he could actually clear up everything. Here comes Vinch. Vinch doesn't know about this town center yet, but he knows this is probably where Dogao is. And Vinch doesn't have monks. Like, those Scorpions are for the taking right now, but there's raids here from the knights, and Dogao reacts perfectly. And knights for Vinchester get picked off. Cav Archers find a Scorpion. There's still no bloodlines for these Cav Archers, which is kind of risky against Scorpions. But nice snipe there. And these knights as well, this knight as well, getting pushed away. So Vinchester kind of hitting a wall in terms of his offense now. He's trying to reboom back into the game, but now the Cav Archers are into his eco here. Also, Vinchester hasn't really been able to evacuate with much. And he won't be able to if he doesn't have the water control either. Look at Dogao's resources right now. Dogao's got crazy resource bank. Like, if he can spend that, he could be 4 TCs, have better eco upgrades. It's just like, can he get all of that together right now? Can he get to that position? I actually think Vinchester would have died this game if these Scorpions got killed by that one knight. It took Dogao a little bit of time. He didn't know how exposed those units actually were. But he's got a little bit of a groove going right now. University coming up for ballistics. Bloodlines coming in for those Cav Archers. More docks to increase the fishing efficiency. The knight is still back here for Dogao. Again, that's my main concern for him right now. Is just the fact that there's these 5 Scorpions. And he doesn't have an easy answer to it. He's also pretty heavy on stone, but so is Vinch, so they might both be thinking about a castle. Also, this knight looks like it's from a scenario, standing on the cliff there. He's like the scout. He was sent there to look ahead to see if the enemy army is on the way. Wow, forward monks actually from Dogao is interesting, and there's the knight. Like I said, like, If that was open field in the middle of the map, every single Scorpion would have gone down. Still a big change there to just mix in one Knight. That's 2 Scorpions down. Huge. And now, Dogao's advancing. He has monks to potentially convert more Knights over to his side. The conversions won't come in, but this is horrible for Vinchester. And look at all the eco here. He can't evacuate because there's still fire ships patrolling here, and the fire ships have 5 kills. This is just such an awkward position for him. And Vinch will aim to kill the monks with the Scorpions, loses both the Scorpions, and oh man, this is the win Dogao's been hoping for. If he can finish it off. Vinch still has the better eco, a slightly better eco, and it still could start to fall apart here. And oh, Dogao! His monks disappear, and more Cav Archers on the way now, and he has to repeat the same steps. I think he got housed really badly and was placing a couple houses there. I think there's a very good chance Dogao forward castles right now. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Next to a siege workshop is so risky, but I guess you're just assuming your opponent is going to be on Scorpion instead of Mangonel. That castle should go up. As long as Dogao just camps this, there's no way this castle gets denied, I think. But now, does Vinchester go? Oh my freaking god. Vinch is like, okay, fine. That's bad for me. But now he has his army at my base, and I'm going to build a castle on at his base. Oh man. This is about to get crazy. You know, the best thing about this from Vinch's perspective is he's actually bringing the Knights. A lot of people just send the Vills. And now, Dogao's probably like, okay, he hasn't shown me anything. He hasn't shown me anything. He hasn't shown me anything. Oh my god, Dogao's imping in this TC. He is imping in the TC that's about to be castle dropped. And Vinch, oh, Vinch needs to place it on the TC. Can Dogao see this? Okay, Dogao could see this. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The Knights are on the way as well. Dogao can't do anything about that. Dogao can't do anything about that. Vinch is just getting completely wrecked over here by the CA. Vinch will eventually lose this TC. But can Dogao actually get his own castle up here? That's actually a really good decision from Dogao. His own castle should go up. It'll be awkward. It'll be painful. But the TC should kill off the Knights pretty quick. His own castle then means he can make Trebs here. And he still has a crazy strong army over here. Now, he has to be careful. There could be demos from Vinchester. So he might not be able to pass over there again. Castle's still 70% for Dogao. He will make it to Imp. And the main thing Vinchester can really do now is use TCs and towers to defend. But he's been forced to evacuate fully out of this area. And Dogao, I think he can get a really important victory here. I know he's behind in Vills, but Vinch will never be Imp. His eco is pretty much unrated apart from this area. There's not an easy answer for Vinchester to stop the CA. And Dogao also has resources to even upgrade the CA. So, like, I don't expect life to be very easy here from Vinch. And will he think that? Will Vinch tap out here? Or does he keep fighting? He's upgrading on water to kill the fish. His Knight is also there. Maybe Dogao won't notice. Oh, man, but the Knights are here from Dogao. Finding more Vil picks. There is a demo waiting in that dock, but that can't contribute much if Dogao doesn't have a need to run across there anymore. Dogao noticed that Knight was there. The TC will shoot down, will be shot down by the castle there. And now there's Trebs from Dogao here. So Vinchester should lose this castle. I think it might make sense for Dogao. Dogao, do not run near the dock. Okay. It might make sense for Dogao to try and reclaim water a little bit. Just because it is tough that he can't really cross on either side. I guess here he still could. There's a lot to focus on right now. The forward TC from Vinchester is pretty wild. That castle's a goner. And more villagers evacuating there for Vinch. The Cav Archer count is only 19 for Dogao. But Vinch is getting +2 armor for 3 knights. I just don't know if that's enough. And Vinch is not really by choice, but he's fully evacuated. He's completely off the starting area now. And Dogao will run underneath the TC. That's been Vinch's plan, is just defend with town centers. And it's kind of working. Dogao will just park his army there. Dogao's Trebs now. They'll spot the new TC. They'll also spot all these vills. Dogao needs to get Cav Archers here. But he's microing his CA, guys. And the Cav Archers are still doing a good enough job against these knights. Vinch can't... He doesn't have the food eco to produce more knights after this wave. These vills are attacking the Trebs? What? Vinchester's taking out trebuchets with villagers. It's actually happening. He might actually take all 3. Dogao? It's fine. It's fine. He still has Cav Archers around. He's massacring Vinch's eco. Who needs Trebs? Trebs aren't important. 3 Trebs died to vills. Oh my god, dude. And oh my god, he lost his Cav Archers here. Don't tell me Vinch actually has a chance. There's no way, dude. There's no way. I mean, that's horrible. That's painful. But Vinch still isn't on the way to Imp. The Cav Archers for Dogao should just refocus on claiming the rest of the land now. You don't have any of this to worry about. So that's like, you're never going to be raided there. If this TC actually goes down at some point, that's another 13 vills dead for Vinch. There should be no way to lose this game if you're Dogao. This should be a victory. Also, I was so proud of myself last season with my prediction contest. I was tied for 7th place. I'm very proud. And I predicted 3-0 for Vinchester here because of Dogao's setup. I did not expect Dogao to be able to perform so well. At this TC is giving Vinchester a lifeline. Now it's killing some more Cav Archers, but here comes Dogao with a forward castle. And I mean, his eco is very smooth now. 2 TCs on the outside, 2 TCs in the inside, snagging relics from the middle. And now Vinchester drops his own castle. I don't think that goes up, Vinch. I don't think that goes up, bro. That's a lot of Cav Archers. Nope, not happening. You will not complete that castle, Vinch. And he deletes it now. Another castle from Dogao will be on a town center from Vinch. Vinch still holding on. And he's losing this TC now. He's building a panic TC in replacement, but the vills will be spotted. And the Cav Archers from Dogao could just advance further forward here. Dogao's about to have 30 Cav Archers. And this is before we even see heavy CA. Vinchester, he too saw the photo of Dogao's kitchen sink. And he doesn't want to even lose a single game here, but this will end up being, I think, a pretty respectable start to Titans League Platinum for both of these two. And Dogao gets the win and gets the job done. That was a great game. I mean, I'll be real with you. Like I mentioned at the start, I think it's way easier for Persians in the early game. And I also felt like it was kind of difficult for Dogao because he didn't have the wood line directly next to the berries. Like Vinchester's tower here, to have the wood next to the berries and deer, that's not a luxury that Dogao had if he needed to defensively. There were a lot of situations in this game where Dogao could have been completely battered at home or on the outside here. He did a great job. It was a great balance of water and land. And I think Vinchester just undercut army a little bit. He never made an archer switch. He didn't produce that many scouts. And it just became kind of tricky for him. And it was kind of, after the first couple nights in Castle Age, it was mainly just a boom situation. And the boom was never good enough to continue to produce knights. Well played, Dogao. So I think Dogao will be very happy with that because this was played while he was on vacation, while he was not at home, right? So to snag a win against Vinch is huge. But also at the same time, I would say Vinchester's got to be very happy with starting off with 2 wins as well. regardless of the other circumstances. So, respectable showing in what many people think is the group of death. Well played to Vinchester. Well played to Dogao there. But, I mean, this could have easily been 2-1 the other way. Game 2 was super close. It was a hell of a series. Well played.